Welcome back to 95 Connected, a Baltimore, Maryland sports podcast. It is Pat and Josh. Josh, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, great. All right. Obviously, we're in the midst of baseball season, but you know what? There's only so much you can talk about with baseball. So we're going to mix it up this week, and we're going to go back and talk about something else. We're going to talk about Maryland again, not football. We're going to talk about basketball and do a fun little thing that I'll explain when we get closer to it. But I have two things. And Josh's first thing is very important, so just stay with me. I need to make a public apology. Okay, are you with me?
I'm waiting for who?
Okay. I am publicly apologizing to the little shiny spider on my deck who made a nice little web that connected from my railing to my grill because I grilled. And then, you know, do you grill, Josh? Are you the chef in your house?
I slap meat occasionally.
Excellent. I grilled, and then obviously you can't put the cover back on the grill until it's cool. So I didn't put the cover back on the grill, and then I forgot about it. So overnight, forgot to put the cover back on. Came out the next day to grill, and there was this little spider. He's very small, shiny and green. And he had made a web between the railing and the grill. And I went to I wasn't grilling actually. I went to put the cover back on and I ruined his web or her web. And I felt bad, but I watched the spider, go back to the railing and kind of recalibrate, right? Okay. Next day, I do actually go out to grill. And the spider has a new web set up between the railing and the grill cover. So I had to destroy the web for a second time. And now the spider's gone. So I feel bad, and I want to publicly apologize to the spider.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the spider can't hear you.
I just need to, you don't know that. Spider might be one of our listeners.
I don't even know if they have ears.
You know what?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
Spiders do not have ears or eardrums.
How do they hear? They don't?
They detect airborne sounds and vibrations. So, yeah. The little 5-minute thing, they couldn't hear anything.
All right. Second thing is I have a question for you. We are both, at least in the past, have been notoriously picky eaters. True?
Still true. Probably for both of us, despite, no, we are.
I think I'm growing up a little bit.
No,
Anyway.
Moving on.
Do you like chicken tikka masala?
Yeah.
I don't believe you. Yeah. Because I think the only answers, I was expecting a no, that's gross, ew, from you. But then the only other option would be, hell yeah, I love tikka masala. I'm going to get it tonight. No?
Maybe it's not tikka masala I'm thinking of. What is the other thing?
All right.
Is it marsala? Marsala?
Chicken marsala? Isn't that like an Italian thing? No, tikka masala is Indian food.
Oh, well, curry's gross. So there's that.
You think curry's gross? Is that what you just said?
Curry's gross, yes.
Well, okay.
There
goes our India listenership. Jerk. All right. Well, I just need to make sure. I don't think you believe it. I don't think you like it. I think you should give it a whirl. It healed me. I went on a golf trip this weekend and did a little bit of drinking, and it healed me. It healed me. So I want you to know that. Okay. Anyway, now that we've lost every single listener, let's jump into our topic for today, which was a Josh idea.
Hell yeah.
Josh texted me and said, hey, what if we did an all-time starting five for Maryland basketball with the caveat that the people on your team can't have played with each other. And I dove headfirst, all
For the
in. So,
record,
yes.
for the record, it
Okay.
was from 2000 to present.
Was that in your text?
It was in my text because I even double checked it this morning, making sure I wasn't crazy. So one of us can read.
Mm,
Mm,
oh,
mm,
yeah, it does
yeah,
say that.
yeah, no,
Well,
that's
anyway,
fine.
so
That's
the
fine.
first time I did one, I did it a all-time Maryland, and my team obviously was probably the same team that everybody would have built, except they would be dumb if they didn't build that team. So
Yep,
I have edited, but to reiterate, what we're doing here is we have both put together a starting five. Did you do guard, guard, forward, forward, center?
I did.
Well,
Well,
I guess it technically doesn't matter,
it
but
depends.
because you're just building a team, right? I mean, you're just building a team. So we did
Quad.
five starters, and three bench players, right? So we both did.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So how would you like to do this? Would you like to go not position by position, but one by one and lay out? Like, obviously, you had maybe probably one person, you're like, boom, in, not even thinking. Um,
Yes.
okay, so you
Okay.
want to
So
start and just go down the list?
go down the list.
All right.
Starting at point guard, the leader in assists per game in Maryland basketball history, Mr. Steve Blake. Come on down. Yeah.
Steve Blake
Steve
that
Blake's.
was your 1A. That was your I'm putting him on my team.
No, well, okay, for a caveat, I built it from big man to guard.
Oh,
That's
you
how I
did
made
say
it.
that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay,
Steve
but
Blake was 1
yeah,
5
1-5.
or
Got it.
5 5 1, whatever
All
you want to
right.
call
That's fair.
it. Hmm.
So I'll tell you who starting my starting point. You went point guard. I'm just going to go with who I went first. And it should be pretty obvious who I went with first, which was Calvert Hall great. Braxton, Calvert Hall great, Juan Dixon
I really
at
wish it
guard.
was going to be all just
All time
CHC
leading
guards.
scorer in Maryland history, national champion, 4 years. I don't see how you can take Steve Blake over him, but I want you to explain that.
I
Is it the
will.
assist thing? Yeah.
It's assist, it's length, it's grit, it's the fact that he can defend the one, the two, or the three. The fact that he will spend more time in the watching video, first guy in the locker room, last guy out, and he will fight literally anybody on the court. Case in point, he's done that.
Who did he fight? I don't remember that.
Uh, he fought John Gilchrist during practice.
Well, I was thinking he fought now I remember that. I was thinking an in-game thing. Like, you remember, I don't remember who it was against, but remember when Paulus landed, Greg Paulus from Duke, by the way, who landed on one of Maryland's players and then like shimmied his body, like trying
Mm-hmm.
to fight him.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Fun
So,
fun fact: I was at the camp that week when Steve Blake fought John Gilchrist because they did team practices at the end of the camp at the end of each day,
mm-hmm.
and you got to watch all the star
I mean,
players.
was it full swings?
Yeah, yeah. There's
Oh,
video of him full swing punching John Gilchrist right in the face.
I'm sure I remember. If I saw it, I'd be like, oh, I remember that.
Hmm.
I'll look it up. I'll
Yeah.
look it up at one point. Okay. Well, so you picked him because he's white. That's what we determined.
No, he averaged
Um,
7.9 assists a game, and you're gonna figure out why my thought process on how I made this squad very quickly. But go ahead. All right.
okay.
So
All right.
who's your number
So
two?
my number two. So now I'm just gonna go down. I'm just gonna go guard, guard, forward, forward.
Hey man, do whatever you want. It's your
So
team.
I put Juan Dixon first because He's Juan Dixon, right? I so this came a little bit later in the process of me creating this team, but I took the general Grievous Vasquez as my point guard because a few reasons. Why do you ask? Why do you ask? A few reasons. One, I have a thing for 4-year players.
Yep.
Also, I think I'm going to pull up stats here. So he averaged just under 6 assists a game, right? So not far from Blake, but
6.8 assists at his peak, by the way.
right, right. But I was looking at the whole. Even if the people only played 2, hey, that's a hint for whom we'll talk about later. Only played 2 years. I'm looking at their Maryland. I'm looking at Maryland only. I'm not looking at NBA. I'm not looking at if they transferred, whatever. Looking at Maryland. 5.7 assists, so just under Blake. But he scored more, and he was a better rebounder. And, you want to talk about grit. That man controlled Comcast Center
He bled
back in the
red.
day. Oh my God.
I
That
think
I
his
made a Facebook page in college freshman year when everybody made Facebook pages about the stupidest things like, oh, I count the leaves in trees on Thursdays, and everybody be like, me too, and they hit the page. You know what I'm talking about? I made one that was just called the Grievous Vasquez Shimmy, and it blew up because it was whatever game it was. He did that little shimmy, and then the next game there were people with signs of him shimmying his arms and whatnot. But he got the people going. He got the people going.
Mm-hmm.
So I need him on my start. I need him in my
I
starting
agree.
5.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a
Yeah,
really good player. Really good,
yeah.
gritty player.
All American, second team All American too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Senior year. Lost. He should have been. I had many arguments with people in college that he should have won. The was it point guard of the year, and
Yeah.
it went to John Wall. And I thought that was shenanigans, even though it
Well,
probably should have gone to John Wall.
well,
But
college John Wall was a freak of nature. He was probably the most fun player in college I've ever seen.
Maybe
Yeah.
Kemba Walker was fun.
Kemba Walker was fun. That
Yeah.
whole Big East squad.
Yeah, the Big East. Bring it back. Bring it back.
Bring it back. Bring
We
it
talked
back.
about that before. All right.
Yep.
Did you do 2 or you just did 1?
Number 2, shooting guard.
Say the word.
Ya boy, Melo Trimble.
I thought you were going to say Mike Jones.
You know what's funny? I thought about Mike Jones, and I couldn't do it because I think he played with Steve Blake. I think the year after.
Yes, he was a freshman when Steve
Yeah.
Blake was a senior. Yep.
Yeah, I wanted to put his name down, and he could have gone who? Mike Jones. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Melo Trimble, who I think at the heart of hearts, he's a shooting guard, but he's a 6'3" shooting guard. So he's a little bit shorter. Once again, he averaged 4.9 assists per game
Mm-hmm.
and was lights out from 3 his freshman year.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll ignore the other 2 years. And he also got to the hoop his freshman year, but we'll ignore the other years. But we're going to focus on his freshman year, where he should have probably declared.
Well, I have a comment on that, but keep going.
But yeah, so he will no, he's not the biggest liability on defense, but he's kind of a liability on defense. So hopefully at shooting guard, he's not, hovering the fastest guy on the court. But yeah.
When you said he didn't go to the hoop as much after his freshman year, do you remember one of the reasons that was?
Well, I believe it was Turgeon telling him not to go to the hoop as much.
No,
but
I don't think so. I think it was he stopped getting the calls because remember his freshman year, he would hit, go to the rack and just get fouled and fouled and fouled. And he wasn't flopping. I'm sure he sold it. But the following year, I mean, I'm looking at the stats now. He dropped almost 2 free throws a game. And I don't think that's because Mark Turgeon told him to stop. I think it's because they stopped calling it. Because I remember being kind of confused about that. Like, why are you not calling that? That's clearly a foul, clearly a foul. So that could be it.
Yeah.
And
But yeah,
thus he started shooting more threes and his 3-point percentage went down.
dipped.
So there you go. But okay, that's a good pick. One of the things, did you go through your list and look at all the people that your guys that you picked blocked?
Well, yeah,
Okay.
like Mike Jones. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Mike Jones. Okay, so all right, so now we're on what, number 3?
Yep.
All right. Who am I gonna go first? Ah,
Do you want me to go? Because this will be
yeah.
quick.
Yeah, I want you to go.
Starting at small forward, ya boy, the grit king, Grievous Vasquez.
Grievous Vasquez at small forward.
So now I have Steve Blake, 7.9 assists per game.
Uh-huh.
Vasquez, 6.8 assists per game.
Uh-huh.
Trimble, 4.9.
Uh-huh.
All unselfish players, all very good shooters. And from a matchup perspective, he can guard 1 to 4 if he wanted to. Not well
Mm-hmm.
from the 4, but he's a matchup nightmare.
How tall is Grievous Vasquez?
6'6". I looked it
6'6".
up.
I mean, yeah. I mean,
Uh-huh.
that's
200
stout.
pounds. Yeah.
Yeah. And you've built a team so far where you've got two of the 3 on the court. You can give the ball to either of them at the end of the game. Grievous is going to make a dumb shot and he's going to make it. Melo's going to take it. It'll
50
seem
feet
dumb on its
back,
face, but it's just a mid-range 3 against
but it's so
Michigan State.
pretty.
But it's
He's
so good.
he is one of the prettiest jump shots that,
Yep.
god damn.
Yep.
What a
One
wasted
thing that I
opportunity.
learned through this whole process, and we'll see that, and everybody's probably aware, but when I go through my list of people that are blocked, Maryland has had a stout guard play from
Yeah,
a
100%.
shooting guard play. Let's make that clear. We haven't had a point. Sorry, screw it. We
Our
haven't
tax
had a point
dollars. Well, my
guard.
tax dollars, not yours.
Well,
Maybe.
I'm also an alumni.
Okay.
Alumnus. My bad. Great shooting guard play. We've always been missing that point guard, probably since Steve Blake.
Well,
I mean, go through it. Like, Cowan. Not
he's a
nobody in the last
small
10
shooting
years.
guard.
Nobody in the last 10 years has been a point guard.
Yeah,
Like
they've all been
even when
scoring
you think
guards.
about guys like Seth Allen, not a point guard, shooting guard. So you go back, then you go to Peace-John Howard. He's supposed to be a point guard, but he was horrible. And then so you keep going back. And it's like John Gilchrist. Nope, not really shooting guard. Drew Nicholas. Nope, not really shooting guard.
To be
So
fair, the basketball has lost the true point guard across the
yes.
board.
But it hadn't in 2006
Yeah.
when they
Yeah.
still didn't have a point
Yep.
guard.
Mhm.
So
Yep.
all right.
Okay.
My third. I'm trying to decide of which one I want to take first. Here's I'm going to at forward. I didn't do small forward or power forward. At forward, Mr. Technical Foul himself, Jake Layman.
Really?
Yes. And
Really?
it's going to make sense as you
No, it
see
doesn't.
the rest of the team that
No.
fills in.
Uh-uh.
Why not?
I
What do
can't
you
stand
mean?
him. Oh my
Why
god, that guy
can't you
had
stand him?
all the talent in the world. He had the height, he had the length, he had the grit, he had the hair. I mean,
Stop saying grit.
he had all the tangibles, but I swear he disappeared so many times throughout the season. And it made me so mad, especially I think it was 2016. We're like, God, we need you to just kind of just get back on track. And he'd stand in the corner and miss another freaking 3-point shot.
He shot 40% from 3 that year.
I don't believe that for a second.
It's on my screen. Okay, I rounded up. 39.6%.
I still don't.
83% from the free throw line.
Yeah, he went 12 for 12 against High
5
Point
rebounds a
University,
game.
and then played Michigan and went 0 for 15.
Block.
Jerk.
Block a game.
Asshole.
Steal a game.
Piece of shit.
12 points a game. He had the
Okay.
size. He had the
Okay.
speed. He was a slasher. We thought when he came in, oh, here comes our 3-point guy, and he became a slasher. And how tall is he? Let's see, 6'9". And again,
Nice.
the other part of it is you had to eliminate other players by other people that you picked. So it's all building, right? You're going to have a player that is the worst on your team. So that's where I want to send you to your fourth. Who was your fourth?
And I have a feeling I know who you're picking for 4.
I don't think you do, but
I
go
think I
ahead.
do.
I
But
don't think you
so
do.
both my 4 and 5 are the same height, and I just learned that 12 seconds ago.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, one of them weighs a little bit more, but I find that very hard to believe. This person was a physical freak of nature. Uh, Probably he had 2 things that he was really good at: blocking shots, being enforcer on defense, and just yamming the ball. And that's what I needed from my power forward, Bruno Fernando.
Yep.
He
Yep.
just he apparently 6'10", 240. All he did is just bully everybody on defense. With the team that I have, who are very pass friendly and just run all over the court, he will eat all of that up. But yeah, that's my guy.
All right.
Yeah,
I don't hate it.
love Bruno.
He was considered.
Miss that
He
guy.
was considered, and I'm not saying I don't have him yet because he hasn't been blocked yet. All right. You're not going to get, you don't know who my fourth is. Who do you think my fourth is?
I thought you were going to go with Jalen Smith.
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Nope.
Will Bowers.
Nope. Better.
How can you? Oh, is it Alex Len?
No.
Okay, all right. I'm out
Nick
of idea.
Kaner Medley. And
Re-
before you say a word,
Really?
look it up. That dude was a dog. He was, John Gilchrist had a legendary ACC championship run, right? Nick Kaner Medley was the best team on Maryland 3 years running. He was, I picked him before I picked Jake Layman. Let me make that clear.
Uh-huh.
Nick
I'm
Kaner
noticing
Medley
a trend on who
was
you're picking.
before Jake Layman.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
mean, and you just remember, remember that Florida Gulf Coast team, the Dunk City
Dunk
stuff?
City.
That's what Nick Kaner Medley was, but by himself. He would just launch, and when he was left-handed, just boom. I needed him on my team. Nick Kaner Medley is my fourth. All right,
Mm. Mm.
round out your 5.
So at center, despite only being 6 pounds heavier and the same height, your boy, Derek Queen, who, as we all know, is a very pass friendly center. He's a defensive liability. We all know that. He doesn't move around that much. So we'll be playing zone a lot on defense, which is fine. I'm okay with that. But I think the way his playing style is with the guards and how Bruno is on offense, it'll be a much more fluid offense that I think we were all expecting him and Jalen Smith to have. But now Jalen Smith is in the NBA. He has a high NBA IQ. Derek Queen's basketball IQ is just through the roof, and I think that will fit really well with this team. So that's my
Yeah,
starting
well,
5.
I got Derek Queen too, and I think it would be a mistake for anybody to not throw him on there because he pretty much played by himself.
Damn right.
Because he only
Well,
played for 1 year, and nobody else on that team is anybody taking if you have a correct mind. I mean, you could argue
yes.
maybe he would be blocked just because you've built a different type of team, but he was, free money. That was your free space, was Derek Queen. So I'm in agreement. Nothing
Yeah.
further. No notes.
Okay.
No notes. All right.
All right. Who's your first bench guy coming off the bench?
That's where I go Jalen Smith.
Okay.
Jalen Smith is in my opinion, I think I have the stats to back it up, a more complete player than Bruno Fernando. So I was taking him over Bruno. Um, I think he's a better shooter. I think Bruno had the well, we say Bruno was especially at home. He was the one riling up the crowd or whatever. But he also had a lot of well, I don't know if a lot's the right word. More than I could stomach. Stretches where he was just gone. Maybe
Hmm.
not completely,
Well,
but he
foul
get in
trouble.
foul trouble,
Yeah.
right? Um, off the bench they would bring in a freshman Jalen Smith or Ivan Bender, and then they would just fall behind or let the team come back. This is our time where we've talked about. Let's not talk about Mark Turgeon anymore. I'm going to talk about it right now. I will never get why Mark Turgeon was allergic to putting Jalen Smith and Bruno Fernando on the floor at the same time, at least
I,
for a stretch of that season.
I just it seemed like, oh, okay, we're not gonna go down this rabbit hole. He can't hurt us anymore because now we have to point our angry gun at somebody else. But I think that was all coaching. They did not know how to, like, dude, just like get out of each other's way. It's like you guys have never played with two giants on the field at the same time. Ah,
Yeah, no,
okay.
it's
Mm.
just something you have to get teams to think about, and you have teams like Purdue like to do the thing where they put on one ogre onto the court. Well, that ogre's got to think about two big men, and then you would say, well, they would just kick it out to their shooters. Who's that one guy on Purdue?
Which giant?
No, 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 not
Haas?
the Giant. One of their shooters who was having like an unbelievable year, and then he came to
Oh,
Maryland and got shut down.
what?
We'll remember it. We'll remember it. He didn't come to Maryland. He didn't transfer to Maryland. I meant they played in
Oh.
Maryland.
Yeah, Morcell shut him down.
Yes, yes, that's right. What was that guy's name? We'll find it.
We'll
Somebody's going to
find
look it
it.
up.
Uh, Zach Edey.
No, it was not Zach Eady. It was a shooter.
Could have been Zach Edey. How dare you?
Do
Carson
basketball.
Edwards.
Carson Edwards. There it is.
Carson Edwards.
Thank you.
Nailed it. We did
Yeah.
it.
All right. Did you say you're first off the bench yet?
Off the bench, Alex Len, who
Mm.
was extremely underrated as a Terp, but was very valuable. I also think injuries played a factor on
Mm-hmm.
why I wasn't 100% sure I'm taking him. But I mean, when he was healthy, there were games where he would just, you give him the ball and he'll just take over.
It's interesting because
He didn't score a lot, but he got a couple of double doubles.
right. And I was always a little bit confused because I was at Maryland and I went to every game. And I remember people mostly, I don't remember, maybe my stepdad or something would say, Alex Len, he's going to be a lottery pick. And I'm
Hmm.
like, what?
Yeah.
Why? He's not bad. He wasn't bad, but I was like, what? I mean, he's fine, but I didn't quite get that. And I'd say he had a pretty solid NBA career. But,
Oh,
you know,
more than I expected. I mean,
yeah,
a center that didn't have a 3-point shot somehow still played in, I think he played in 2020
I would
in the
believe it.
NBA.
But in the moment, I think what didn't help was some of the crap that was around him at Maryland. There was only really one or two guys on every team that he had that was worth a damn. Okay, all right. Why don't you go give me your second off the bench?
Number two, the guy hung meat and he yammed the ball like the rim
Mm-hmm.
hurt his
Mm-hmm. I know
feelings.
who you're gonna say. Uh-huh.
Goddamn Dez Wells,
Uh-huh.
who
Uh-huh.
I will say alone turned Maryland basketball around. I will stand on that hill by myself.
You gonna stand on that business?
Yeah, he 10 toes straight down. If you remember, I think it was Turgeon came to Maryland. He got a quote unquote really good recruiting class, and it was not that good. Keyshawn Howard and all that shit. And then Des Wells transferred to Maryland. There was all that Michigas at Xavier that got thrown out, which we won't touch. I don't know. They could have happened. We don't know. But when he came to Maryland, that the whole organization, the whole university came together and became a basketball school again. So, and once again, he will fit in well with Mello and Blake and Vasquez, and he could come in and give minutes off of Bruno or Queen if he wants to play forward. He's not a shooter. I don't care what he says. He's not a shooter. I don't need him to be a shooter.
No. Nope. He was what we hoped Dante Scott would turn into.
There's a long list of small forwards that we thought would turn, would become. But yeah, Dante Scott, who his freshman year, well, look at all this. He's 40% 3-point shooter. Oh, this looks good, and just plateau and got fat.
Yeah. Yeah. He was definitely a spark needed off of very mediocre end of ACC era teams going into the Big Ten. Get the fan base excited for a new conference, that type of thing. Des Wells. If
As
anybody
well
needs a picture of Des Wells, ask Josh for one.
on my wall.
No more comments on that. What was that? Was that your second off the bench? Okay.
Us too.
Here's where I had my little dilemma where I picked one yesterday, and then I was like, all right, that's my choice. And then I was proofreading this morning to make sure I didn't have any overlapping and I didn't have a change of heart. And I was stuck between two once I found somebody available amongst my team. So I'm going to give you who I didn't go with first.
Okay.
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 And I'm gonna try to have you guess who I went with. My hint is they're both guards. Okay. So who I ended up not going with was Jameer Young.
I forgot about him.
Right, because he's that little in between Jalen Smith and Derek Queen, right?
I
That
completely
because he
forgot.
was the
Okay.
only one. Because then you had, obviously Anthony Cowan was on that team, but he played with Melo, and then you had, I don't remember. He didn't overlap with Aaron Wiggins. No, but
Mm-mm.
Aaron Wiggins was on team with somebody. Anyway, so that's who I didn't go with. Now I don't know if he would supplant anybody on your team. Maybe he could live on your bench, but I didn't go with him. This was a hard choice, and you are going to laugh at who I picked. One
You picked.
guess.
Well, so I'm between two. I'm going to go with the one that I also put as my fourth in case you had a fourth bench player. Oglin.
Terrell Stoglin.
Oglin.
That's right. He,
Really?
yup, he was my second bench player.
Hmm.
I don't know if you remember Stoglin at his peak, but he led the ACC in scoring his sophomore year.
He sure did, and then Turgeon kicked him off the team.
Well, I think that was well deserved. That whole team probably should have been kicked off, but and again, people, whoever listens may go, what the fuck are you talking about? Terrell Stoglin? Again, we had the caveat of they couldn't be on the same team as anybody else. So the bench is tough to fill. But I went with Terrell Stoglin because his peak, only 2 years, but that sophomore year, he was the only reason that they won any game, basically.
They went 17 and 15. Do you want to know the other players on that team?
Sean Howard was on that team. What was the year again?
Yeah.
12 and 13? Is that right?
11,
11 and
12.
12.
So
Sean Howard,
Stoglin, Sean
Stoglin,
Mosley.
James Padgett was on that team.
Yep, your boy, James Padgett. So for
Williams
the
was
record,
gone.
this team was the first introduction to, oh, look at the recruiting class that Turgeon brings in. They're all 5-star recruits.
Michael Parker.
Yeah, there it is.
Ashton
And
Pankey.
those are the two names. Yep.
Yep. Yeah, Mosley. So
Sean
starting
Howard,
five was Sean Howard, Stoglin, Mosley, Padgett,
Faust. Yep.
Oh, Nick Faust. There you go. That was the other one.
Another one of,
Yep.
oh, on paper. Wait, was this the year? No, this was not the year. There was the year the guy from like China played, and
Jinsu Kim. No, that
yeah,
was before them, I think.
there Jin Soo Choi.
Jinsu Choi, Jinsu Kim. I mixed him up with the baseball player. Yeah. When did Jinsu Choi
He
play?
was 08, 09, and
Yeah, he
9
was
and
earlier.
10.
Yep. I think he got hurt in 2010 and he didn't
No,
play a lot.
I thought it was like education.
Oh, eligibility stuff?
Yeah, like he wasn't passing any of his classes. He
Come
couldn't.
on, Gary. You got to do better
Yeah,
than that.
yeah. I mean, UNC somehow gets every player, straight A's. We gotta do better. Hmm, yeah. Okay.
All right. All right. I'll go with my last one. This is by far my weakest player on this entire team, but I was out of options unless I wanted to go third guard and put Jameer Young as my third, but I didn't want to. I wanted some forward action in there. But I will accept your giggles. Okay. Justin Jackson is my
What,
last player.
you idiot?
Yeah.
Are you? First off,
Look,
the
I'm
fact
telling you.
that he went to the NBA, he even declared to the NBA. Somebody needs to put down whoever's like, yeah, you're so ready for the NBA. Freaking idiot! You had shoulder surgery. You weren't even playing that good before the surgery. You were very average. Your eyes are way too far apart. It makes no sense. He had no game. He was just he would be a perfect 4-year college player. And ah,
Wow.
I hate the fact that he didn't stay one more year and had a healthy season his junior year with Herder. I don't know if Herder left that same year or not, but that core would have been special their junior year.
Yes, I agree. And like I said, this is my weakest player by a lot. Um, I well, we'll go through who was blocked, but the other guys on that team were blocked by others. So that's who I got. All right,
Yeah,
who's your last one?
I'm glad that you just threw the name out because you can't defend the fact that it sucked. Piece of shit asshole left. Okay,
Wow.
so I'm really angry about it. Okay, so my last one is um I still truly believe if the stars align and the NCAA doesn't screw this up, he will be a very fun player on this next year's team. Farrell Payne, who there are multiple times this season where he's landed and like he's torn his ACL, he's ruptured his Achilles, he has blown out every joint in his ankle, and none of that happened. Is a feat of itself, but he is a very talented college player. He is not an NBA player, in my opinion, but he's very talented. 0.5 points per game for Maryland, and 4 in the year before it. You give him the ball, he's going to score. He's not going to pass the ball, which is probably something we need to work on with him. Still, love him.
I don't hate it.
Big
I
fan.
think it's better than Justin Jackson, but I
Damn right it
also,
is.
I mean, it was what, 10 games almost exclusively, if not exclusively, non-conference play, which we know that
100%.
it was. Let's see, played 2 conference games, averaged 12, and one of them was, well, no, he didn't play against Michigan. Well, obviously that was later in the season. So I'm taking that with a pretty big grain of salt, but I don't hate it because
Hey,
I want to look forward to the future
he
next year.
scored
He's
21
coming
points
back.
against Coppin State. Okay. All
Wow.
right. What are we talking?
Did you see Coppin State baseball
I didn't know they had a
recently?
baseball team.
Well, yeah, I think I had put this in my brain to talk about on this podcast, but I forgot about it. But let me pull it up. What I was going to bring up was I think Coppin State should lose all of their sports teams. I don't think they're good at anything.
No.
Um,
Wait, is, Coppin State the same school that like hasn't won a game in like several years?
For
No, let's not
baseball,
know.
no.
No.
They've beat some people. So where did it go? Where did it go? Is this the right season? What year is this? Yeah, this is the right season. Okay. So they lost to Oklahoma 22-1. They lost to
Co-
Oklahoma 24 nothing. They lost to Richmond 19-1. They lost to Fairleigh Dickinson 24-5. They lost to Norfolk State 21-2. And this is the one I was looking for. They lost to Lehigh 38-7.
Jesus
Sorry, 38 to
Christ.
6 in 7 innings. Lehigh scored, this is what I was trying to pull up. Lehigh scored 20 runs in the first inning
Of,
of a baseball game in the top
Uh,
half.
they ended the game early.
Yes. They mercy ruled them after 7 innings, but they
I
scored 20 runs in the first inning. I agree. Coppin State needs to go. All right, let's let this guy pitch, and then we're going home. Well, they were home. They lost at home. It seems like they're. Let's see. And since then, they've lost 7, 16, 7, 12, 8, and 13 1. Coppin State sports should be
call it a
banned.
year.
Yep.
Just use the money and build a better school. I don't know.
Yep. We got to be careful with saying that, though. On recordings, we could be in trouble.
Same with High Point.
Okay. So, how do we want to do the players that ended up being blocked by people?
I only have about 10 minutes, so
Okay, we can go
I'll go.
quick.
I'll go through my two. So
Yep.
the biggest one was Jalen Smith. I just I don't know. I mean, his I went based off of how he'd fit with the team and not how he was in like or how he's doing in the NBA. Which side note, he's doing pretty well when he actually gets playing time. I don't know if he's just really, really bad on defense or what, but it's very weird. The other one was Mike Jones. I wanted to get Mike Jones on my team so badly, just for Mike. Well, he's also a scoring machine, but
Yeah, I think if you look at his body work as a whole, he was fine, and his name was a meme before memes were a thing. All right. I can do a few here because there are some good players who were blocked. I think the best player who was blocked and would be blocked on your team too was Chris Wilcox.
yeah, yep,
Yep, and then
definitely,
obviously Juan Dixon, but we already talked about Juan Dixon.
yeah.
Obviously Lonnie Baxter was blocked, but there can be
Pick any of the
arguments to be
starting
made
five.
for Derek Queen over Lonnie Baxter easily. John Gilchrist by Kaner Medley, James Gist was a nice little flash in the pan guy, but eh.
Hey,
Let's see. Braxton Dupree was blocked by Grievous. I thought about Des Wells, but he was blocked by Jake Lehman for me.
did you say Braxton Dupree? Can we back up to that?
Yes, we can back up Braxton Dupree. My second Braxton Dupree reference today. Hey, I saw him dunk against Wake Forest in person. Mello blocked by Lehman, Bruno, Cowan, and Wiggins, all blocked by Jalen Smith.
I will say Wiggins. What he didn't become a really good basketball player until he left Maryland.
Yeah. Oh, that was a system thing. That was a Turgeon thing.
Yeah,
Turgeon did not
put him in
use
the
him and
corner.
Herder correctly.
Yep.
I will love Anthony Cowan till the end of my days. Like I said, I have a thing for 4-year players, which brings me to my last person who I really, really, really wanted to get in here,
Ian
but was
Martinez.
blocked. No. Julian Reese. I know that first couple years, especially the free throws, were something to
Yeah.
behold. But there's something to be said between coaches through all that, being tied to his sister, who is polarizing for whatever reason. Well, we know the reason. He stayed for 4 years. And
Yeah.
if somebody said to me the next two people we're putting up in the rafters are Julian Reese and Anthony Cowan, I wouldn't bat an eye. Other people might bat an eye. I wouldn't.
Yeah,
So, wanted to
I
say that.
will. Yeah, I will say that the reshaping of the tone after Willard joined, and everyone's like, well, what is this team going to look like? And him coming in and basically help carry 2023, I think really helped that 2024 season. That said, I don't think we we went with an assumption that Turgeon was really good at grooming big men and having them kind of like figure out how to grow and develop, and it didn't really happen with Julian Reese. I mean, his senior year, I think it helped a ton that there was another super talented big man around him,
Yes.
and the fact that we had real competent guards that we didn't need Julian to take the ball a billion times. But yeah, I mean, he's only done pretty good in the NBA. We'll see what next year looks like.
Yeah, I mean, he's on a team that, they just say, yeah,
Garbage.
whoever gets the ball, who cares?
Yeah. Oh, you
Just,
got a rebound. Okay. Do you
I,
want a double double tonight?
yeah, I saw something where with the stretch that the Wizards have been on for the last 20 years is just embarrassing,
It, it,
which is why I don't care about them. Partially.
yeah. I want to care about them. I loved when it was Antoine Jameson, Carl Butler, Gilbert Arenas before he fell in the shower. And then there was John Wall and Bradley Beal, who both thought they could shoot. John Wall never developed the jump shot. Then he fell in the shower and also destroyed his knees.
Michael Jordan, Juan
Michael
Dixon,
Jordan, right? Yeah. Yeah.
Christian
All
Laettner. There was one other guy that when I was a kid, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so glad he's on the team. He was
Michael
on,
Ruffin,
no, he was
the first
on
alien.
Indiana's team in the national championship against Maryland. Jared
Oh,
Jeffries.
yeah. I thought him and Juan Dixon. I was like, yeah,
Yep.
that duo is going to be
Yep. Steve
so
Blake was a
killer.
wizard for a cup of coffee.
Yeah, he stayed in the NBA for a while
Yep. I saw
because
him in
he had
Buffalo
that
Wild
grit.
Wings with his kid in no, not Columbia, Bethesda.
Yeah, pipe at the bone right off the wing because
No,
he's
I didn't really watch him eat.
a hard nosed player.
Yeah. Well, all right. That was fun.
Yeah.
We're going to have to determine whose team is better.
What we should do is ask AI to do it.
I will do that. I will write down, yes, and I will put it into AI and we'll see which one is better. And we'll do it next time because you're coming up on a deadline, aren't you? So,
Mm, yeah.
yep. Cool.
That's all right. And then we'll start caring about basketball again May 1st. We'll do a couple of recaps of that.
May
That'll be
1st.
interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. May 1st, because then the
Maybe.
transfer portal stuff will probably be done. We know the recruits. We know who's coming back. We know who left. I like that. May
Yep.
1st is next week, by the way.
Oh shit.
How about June 1st? Yeah. All right. We'll sneak something else in
Yeah.
here at
Do
some
something else
point.
fun.
Yep. All right. Cool.
All right.
Well, that was fun. I'll catch you next time. Thanks,
Okay.
everybody, for listening. Hopefully, you stayed
Bye.
past the spider and Tikka Masala stories.
Yeah.
Okay. All
Okay.
right. Don't leave. See
Bye.
ya. All right.
Okay. Okay. Bye. Okay.